Hi guys! I have quite the assortment of new makeup to try out today, and I thought I would film sort of like a wear test of my first impressions. Some of these is more like a second or third impression, but I went to Ulta the other day. Actually, the main thing I went to Ulta for was to repurchase the ColourPop Pretty Fresh foundation because I wanted to have this for wear testing sunscreens. I feel like this is the best foundation to test alongside sunscreens, and none of my other foundations really do what this does. So I repurchased that. We're not going to be trying this today because I already have used up a whole one of these. So that was what I went to Ulta for, but naturally that's not the only thing I came out of Ulta with. There were quite a few other drugstore products that I had my eye on. I feel like usually like the beginning of the year is when a lot of new drugstore launches come out. I wasn't sure if I was going to get this, but as you can see, I did. This is the new Covergirl Simply Ageless Skin Perfector Essence. I feel like I have heard so much about this over the past few months. This has gone pretty viral on the internet, and I've heard mixed reviews. Some people seem to love it, some people seem to hate it. Also picked up the new e.l.f. Camo Liquid Blush. Also finally got the light pink shade of the e.l.f. Halo Glow Loose Powder. I love the original, like, translucent shade of this, but I've been really wanting to try the pink version since that's been such a huge trend recently. Also a few things that have come in PR that I wanted to test out for you guys. The Milk Makeup Cloud Glow Primer. It's that weird foaming primer. We're gonna see what that's all about. The Kaja Stick Blush. I also have the Ilia Limitless Lash Mascara. I'm finally going to open this. I've had it for a while, but we're going to test that. Lots of new things, so let's go ahead and dive in. Let's start with this Milk Primer. To make this as scientific as possible, since I'm testing multiple products, I'm going to wear this on just one half of my face so we can see if this makes a difference at all. I have already used this a couple of times, and I already have some thoughts, but let's just, let the wear test speak for itself. I do already have sunscreen on. I'm wearing the Benton UV Defense Sun Cream today, which is a very lightweight sunscreen. I feel like this is a good one because it doesn't really affect the way my makeup looks very much at all. It has just a very natural look on my face. So that's the sunscreen I have on. Now, normally I wouldn't apply this primer over sunscreen, but I feel like this is going to be the best way to actually see what's happening with it. The reason I wouldn't normally put this primer or most primers over sunscreen is that it is like a liquid, so I'm afraid it might disrupt the actual layer of sun protection. So let's try it on this side of my face. So it comes out like a foam, and it has kind of like a coconut sort of scent. It smells like coconut water or something. So they claim this is a skincare-packed foam brightening primer that creates a smooth base, holds makeup for up to 12 hours, and hydrates skin for a natural glow. They also claim 90% of people said makeup doesn't settle into fine lines and wrinkles after 12 hours. So we'll see about that. I do often get settling in my smile lines. Okay, so I feel like the primer has fully dried down. This is the primer side, and this is the non-primer side. I don't see any difference. Like, I don't think this side looks any glowier than the side without. I think they both look exactly the same as far as like glow level. Now let's try out this CoverGirl Simply Ageless Skin Perfector Essence. I got the shade Fair. I almost didn't get this. I was going back and forth. I almost put it back on the shelf, but I had Nathan with me at Ulta, and he is such an enabler. I was like, I can't decide if I should get this, and he was like, why not? Just try it out. So I was like, okay, I mean, yeah, when you put it that way, why not? So I got it. Now, this is expensive for a drugstore foundation. At Ulta, this retails for $21.49. I did use a $3.50 off coupon, so I guess sort of got it for $17. I was just looking, actually, at Target and Walmart, it's sold for $16. So that's the place to buy it if you're gonna get this. I don't think my local Target and Walmart carry this in stores. I wanted to get it in person, so I got it at Ulta. But this is, yeah, even $16 is pricey for a drugstore foundation, but over $20, I think that is pretty outlandish. For CoverGirl, especially, like, CoverGirl has always been such an affordable brand. So they say this is a skincare makeup hybrid with 0.5% bakuchiol, which they say is a plant-based retinol alternative. I don't really know that that's true, but the skin plumping formula reduces the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles and increases skin's firmness. So this is a really interesting formula. I think there are some high-end products that are similar to this. This has these like pigment capsules suspended in a sort of clear serum-like gel. So let's give this a go. I'm not sure the best way to apply this, but I'm just going to start by pumping a full pump onto the back of my hand. So that's what that looks like. Already it looks like some of those capsules are kind of starting to burst, but I'm just gonna start by putting this on my skin. I feel like I'm probably gonna need more than one pump, because that was one pump. Alright, let me just start by blending this in. I'm gonna use my fingers to blend this in, because I think that's probably gonna be the best way to get those capsules to evenly distribute. Okay, so that was one pump. I'm gonna go in with a second pump because I would like to see how much coverage I can get out of this. I would say that is very sheer coverage, like hardly any coverage. I do have a breakout here, so we can use that to test the coverage level, but let me do another full pump. Whoa, okay, that pump was, I feel like more came out in that pump. But okay, it's taking a while to get this second pump blended in with my fingers, but I feel like now that I have it kind of spread out, I'm gonna go in with my sponge just to tap that out. It's looking so light that it's making my teeth look yellow. I'm hoping this fair shade wasn't too light for me. It looked like a good shade in the bottle, but alright, just tapping this out with my damp sponge. Okay, I already don't think I like the way this looks. It's looking really dry on like this lower half of my face, around my mouth, especially the sides of my nose. It's kind of like gathering right here on this, in this crevice. The upper half of my face looks fine, but that's usually, I usually don't have much dryness up here. It's always like this area that gets dry. I would say that with 2 pumps, I got it up to a solid light coverage. Like you can definitely still see a lot of my skin. Maybe light to medium. I don't know. That seems like a bit of a stretch. I would call that light coverage. A little concerned that maybe this shade is just a teeny bit too light for me. I mean, it looks, in the bottle, it looks like the right shade for me. But maybe I should have gone a shade up. I don't know. Okay, I zoomed you all the way in and turned the brightness down, so hopefully you can see how this is looking. I just feel like around my mouth, it's not looking very flattering. Up here it looks fine. I'm fine with the way that looks on like the top half of my face, but this is always my problem area. Like, do you see how dry it looks around my mouth? And then out in this area, it looks like it's kind of settling into my pores, or like where I have peach fuzz. It's really not looking flattering. So, okay, that's that. Let's continue. I do feel like it's hard to accurately judge a foundation that's too light, but at the same time, like the dry separatedness, that's not just because it's too light, you know? So, yeah. Let's continue. Let's move on. Okay, I don't have a new concealer to test, so I'm just going to use the NYX Bear With Me concealer serum on the under eyes. Yeah, I feel like this foundation is even pilling a little bit around like the sides of my face. Ugh, okay, not enjoying that so far. Okay, this is something I've been testing out for the last like month or so, but I've been loving it. This is the NYX Pro Fix Stick Correcting Concealer, and I have the shade Pink. I love this so much. This actually has a pretty mattifying finish. So I just take some over my concealer right in this like darkest part of my under eye, and I tap it out with my finger. And I love it because I love a matte under eye. I don't want my under eyes to be glowy, and I feel like so few color correctors are actually mattifying. It has almost like a blurring effect to it, and it's very brightening. It really does help cancel out those dark circles. I mentioned recently I wanted to try the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder in the light pink shade, so I picked this up as well. I've loved just the regular light shade, which is kind of just a translucent color, for the longest time. I'm like on my second one of these. But I've been so curious about the whole pink powder trend, so let's try this out on the under eyes today. I'm going to use it with my powder puff. And then just going to tap it on. Ooh, that looks really nice. I almost feel like it's maybe a little bit more brightening than the original shade or something. I don't know. Maybe not bright, maybe brightening is not the right word, but it looks very smooth and perfected. Okay, I forgot that I wanted to use some cream cheek products, so I should have waited to powder. But I have two different blushes I wanted to try today, so we're going to do one on each cheek. So this one I'm really excited about. This is the e.l.f. Camo Liquid Blush. I got the shade Peach Perfect, which is a really light peach color. I love how light this looks. I feel like this is going to be, this is definitely the kind of shade I love. I'm going to put this on the back of my hand first and then apply it. And we'll do this one on this side. Hopefully the fact that I just applied powder doesn't ruin this. Okay, so this has a nice doe foot. I like the shape of that a lot. I'm going to take this on the back of my hand. It's usually my favorite way to apply liquid blushes. I'm going to kind of spread it out evenly and then pick that up on my brush. Okay, wow, that is very pigmented. I feel like it's going on pretty intense, or like more intense than I expected for how light this color is, but that's really pretty. Okay, I definitely didn't need all of that for one cheek, but yeah, a little goes a long way. I think this is supposed to dupe the Rare Beauty liquid blushes, and so far, at least like pigmentation-wise, I definitely think it's similar. I don't like the way it's looking right here because I already powdered my under eye. That's why I usually powder after cream cheek products, but I don't know, I just forgot. It slipped my mind. Over this bottom part with my sponge, just because I feel like it's looking kind of intense there. Oof. My base looks so bad, but the blush looks nice. Okay, on this side I haven't powdered my under eye yet, so hopefully this will go better, but this is the new cream blush stick from Kaja. They sent the whole line. The one that I pulled out to try first and just to see if I like it is the shade Peach Cobbler. I love peach, if you can't tell. It's almost like a deodorant stick, but I'm gonna wipe off my brush, and then this we're gonna apply the same way. I'm gonna put it on the back of my hand first. Okay, kind of a weird looking swatch, but that's what that looks like. You can see very dewy finish. This one is definitely a little bit more sheer, I would say, than the e.l.f. Not quite as intensely pigmented. I was expecting this to be dewier than the e.l.f., but honestly I feel like they are pretty similar as far as the dewy finish. Wouldn't you say? Like the e.l.f. one is looking pretty juicy. This looks like it has a little bit of like very fine shimmer to it. I kind of prefer the way the e.l.f. one blended out though. I feel like that one went on just a little bit more evenly. The Kaja one, it looks even, but I felt like it just took a little bit more effort to blend. So since I used the pink powder on this side, I'm going to use the regular or the light shade of the e.l.f. Halo Glow powder on the other side just so we can see if there's a difference. Okay, definitely a subtle difference between the light pink and the light powder, but I'm really liking this light pink one so far. I really do feel like it, I don't know, it just looks a little bit more perfected, and it makes my under eye blend into my blush really nicely. Because, I like to take my blush up kind of high, like to where it's actually like blended seamlessly into my under eye. And I don't know, I'm liking the pink powder. I don't know, I just feel like this side looks a little bit better. Okay, I'm just going to use my go-to pressed powder on the rest of my face. This is the Covergirl Clean Fresh. And I am going to lightly set the blushes too, because this is a translucent powder, so I like using it to set cream cheek products. Something that I've been wanting to try for a really long time, this is the NYX Brow Glue in the shade Taupe. I've been really into the Ardell brow glue. This makes your brows look laminated. Like this is a heavy duty glue. It really does glue the hairs to your face. But The Ardell Brow Glue, it's kind of annoying because you have to make sure to apply it before going in with any sort of foundation, because if you apply it after foundation, it just kind of mixes weirdly with your foundation and complexion products. So it's very effective, but you have to be very strategic with it. And sometimes I forget to apply this before my base products. And so then I have to be really careful and it still ends up looking kind of weird. So I was curious to see if the NYX Brow Glue might be just a little bit easier to work with. My esthetician uses this and really likes it. So I decided to get a tinted version. I got the shade Taupe. They do also make a clear one, but I thought since I already have a clear brow glue, I would try the tinted one. So let's see. I do like how small this brush is. I would love for this to serve as my like sole brow product. If this could both fill in my brows and give them hold, that would be amazing. So this doesn't come with any sort of tool to press the brows down. Usually with the Ardell one, I like to press them down with the applicator that it comes with, or with like the e.l.f. Brow Lift applicator. Any sort of like flat thing that you can use to just press them down. But yeah, I'm gonna actually use this Ardell applicator just to lightly press them into place. That looks nice. I did get my brows tinted, actually by my esthetician, the one that recommended this product, last week. I think it was last Wednesday, so almost exactly a week ago from today. So my brow hairs, I think they look just a little bit darker than usual. I do feel like the tint has faded quite a bit, and I don't know, I feel like my brows don't look that different from how they look naturally now. But I will say, I feel like this is just giving them a little bit of an extra tint, kind of just like filling in the sparse areas. But it's also not messy. Like the applicator isn't coming out really gooped up with product that's getting all over the place. Like I feel like it's pretty easy to control. And I like this brush better than the one that comes with the Ardell one. The Ardell brush is kind of big. Alright, so there's that brow. I do feel like this is my problem brow. This one usually is the one that doesn't turn out as good. But press those hairs down. So that is that with the brow glue and nothing else. These are those two brushes side by side. The larger one is the Ardell and the smaller one is the NYX. You can see, yeah, pretty big difference. I like the size of the NYX one much better. That being said though, I did use the NYX brow glue yesterday and it definitely did not give me the same like laminated, glued down look that the Ardell one gives. I would say it acts more like just a medium hold brow gel. It's not really gluing my brows into place. This is something I've been wanting to try for a long time. This is the e.l.f. No Budge Cream Eyeshadow. I've been a big fan of the e.l.f. No Budge Shadow Sticks, but for some reason I just haven't ever tried the potted version. So this is the shade I picked out with Nathan's help. This is the one that we both thought was the most interesting. This is the shade called Wildflower. It's like this beautiful pastel lavender. I love pastel eyeshadow, especially in the spring. I've been wearing it so much lately. So let's give this a try. They say this is a no budge eyeshadow. I'm going to try it on one eye without eyeshadow primer and the other eye with primer. So let's keep it consistent with the face primer. I'll use it on the same side that I used the Milk Primer. We're going to go in with the Milani eyeshadow primer just on this eyelid. And then I figured also I might supplement this eye look with the new Alter Ego Dream Gaze palette. This is their take on the Natasha Denona Pastel palette. I've been using this so much. Like almost every day that I wear makeup, I've been reaching for this palette over the past like week and a half. But let's first go in with the e.l.f. No Budge eyeshadow. We'll start on the non-primer side, just because I want to let that primer set. Oh, that is so pretty. It has kind of like a putty sort of texture. Kind of reminds me, the feel of it kind of does remind me of the Merit Solo Shadow. And I'm hoping that this might end up being a good alternative to the Merit Solo Shadow. Okay, so far going on really nicely with my finger. I'm just going to take a brush to blend the edges. This is the Eco Tools Defined Crease Brush. It's my favorite brush to use for blending cream shadows. And tapping over that. Okay, this is blending really nicely. It's not getting patchy, it's not like lifting up. And I love that color. That alone just makes a great one and done eyeshadow shade for the spring. And you could also totally use this as like a pastel eyeliner as well if you just dip into it with an angled liner brush. All right, so now on the primer side, I really don't have to apply much pressure to pick up all I need for one eye. That is so cute. I almost don't even need to go in with a brush, but just to make sure it's fully blended. Okay, I mean, it applied smoothly on both sides. Really curious to see if we get any creasing on the non-primer side. If not, I will be very impressed. But because I do have somewhat oily eyelids, actually I feel like I want just a little bit more on the primer side. Yeah, okay, there we go, now we're even. That is such a cute color. I love that. That is so adorable. For the Dream Gaze palette, honestly, I don't want to do too much with this palette because I kind of just like that matte purple by itself. But let's see. Let's go into the inner corner with this cute yellow shade. This is the shade Halo, just for a little shimmer in the inner corner. I've done quite a few looks with this palette already. You know what? I think I'm just going to leave it at that. Sorry to only use one shade from here, but I just really like that look as is. I don't want to change anything. So let's open up this Ilia Limitless Lash Mascara. I've heard a lot of good things about this mascara. I've tried the Ilia, I think it's called the Fullest Volumizing Mascara. It's the one with like the hourglass shaped wand. That one I liked, except for the fact that it smudged a lot on me. I'm thinking this one will be more up my alley though, because it has a rubber bristle wand, which is my favorite. Ooh, yeah, this is a really interesting wand. So it looks like it has one row of bristles that's very straight, almost like a comb, right here. And then the other side, over here, kind of tapers in. It's got like a slight curve inward. So, ooh, very interesting brush. I'm gonna start by coating my lashes with those shorter bristles and then go in with the comb side to kind of separate. We'll see how that looks. I know a lot of people love this mascara, so I definitely have high hopes. It smells like a lot of mascaras. It kind of has like just a makeup smell. Like it doesn't smell bad. Almost smells like ink. You know that smell? I feel like a lot of mascaras smell like that. Not unpleasant, I wouldn't say. Okay, very, very pokey bristles. You do have to be kind of careful to not poke your eye. Okay, so there's one coat looking very natural. I do tend to find like the first time I use a mascara, usually I get a very natural look. And as the formula just kind of dries out and thickens up a little bit, that's when you really see it at its prime. But I like that kind of natural, fluttery, lengthened look. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it around to that comb side and just comb through and see what happens. See, what are the claims of this mascara? So it looks like this is really meant to lift, lengthen, and curl. That's kind of the claims of this. So it's not really meant to be volumizing, which I like. I like when brands don't claim that a mascara does everything if it doesn't actually do everything. Like I feel like a lot of mascaras will say, you know, lengthening, volumizing, separating, curling, like it does it all, and in reality it's just a lengthening mascara, you know, or it's just a volumizing mascara. But this, you know, I feel like I'm able to go into it with realistic expectations of what it's meant to do, so I appreciate that. Okay, so this is looking really pretty. I'm gonna go in with a second coat over here, and then we will use the comb. All right, now turning it to the comb side. Okay, that looks really nice. I'm gonna go ahead and try this on my lower lashes too, just to give it a true test, and we will see if we get any transfer or flaking. Really hope not. I feel like I always get a little bit of mascara on my skin, like right above my lash line, especially with rubber bristle wands. Honestly, I don't know, it doesn't really bother me because I feel like all mascaras do that, but just want to point that out. I can try and flick it away with a spoolie at the end. Okay, I don't really have any new lip products to try out, but I'm gonna go in with a somewhat newer favorite from Jones Road. This combo right here, oh, this is my favorite right now in my whole collection. So we have their lip pencil in the shade Mauve and their lip tint in Nude Mauve. This is like the ultimate My Lips But Better combo. So here's the lip pencil in Mauve. It is a really nice light mauve that is pretty close to my natural lip color. And I like it because unlike a lot of mauves, it's not very purpley at all. Like it's more just neutral, so. This is a very smooth pencil, not as long wearing as the Kokie lip pencil, but I like it a little bit better because of how just like natural it looks on my lips. And it's great for getting kind of like a smudgy, slightly overlined look if you're into that. I like wearing this just by itself too. If I just want my lips to look a little bit bigger, but I don't want it to look like I'm wearing any actual lip product, I will just like really gently overline my lips with this and then fill them in entirely. And it really, like, it doesn't look like I have anything on my lips. Yeah, really been loving this lip pencil. The lip tint, I've already used so much of this. This is it twisted all the way down. Like, that's how much I've used so far. And I've only had this for like a month. Really nice, just classic tinted balm sort of texture. It's not like super shiny or glossy or anything. It gives just a little bit of a shine. Feels very moisturizing and nourishing. And kind of like a buildable level of pigment. So if you go in with one swipe, that's the amount of pigment you get. And then if you build it up a little bit more, you can build it up to about that level of opacity. Yeah, I love that. This is my favorite type of lip look recently, just a very soft, blurred, My Lips But Better shade. Like, it just looks so good, looks so natural, goes with anything. Okay, so there we have it, the completed look. I will come back for an update on how everything wore at the end of the night. But so far, honestly, I would say I was happy with everything except for the base. I feel like I've used this Milk Makeup Primer a couple times. Honestly, I'll go ahead and tell you, I feel like it does absolutely nothing. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see what kind of difference we notice at the end of the day. So far, my least favorite of all of this was the Covergirl Simply Ageless. This just does not look good on my skin. Like, it looks really dry and crusty, especially like my upper lip. And I'm not dealing with any particularly dry skin right now. I feel like my skin is right at a baseline normal. I don't like the way it looks up close at all. From far away, I feel like my skin looks nice. Like, it looks smooth. It looks like I like the finish. I like that level of coverage. But it's really up close that it's not looking good. Yeah, around the mouth, this whole region out here also. But aside from those two products, everything else I really enjoyed. So let's give this a good solid all-day wear test, and I will come back at the end of the night to show you how everything wore. All right, hey guys, it is the end of the night. I am getting ready to wash my face. I think it's been about 9 or 10 hours since I finished my makeup. So yeah, I think I finished filming around like 1 p.m. and it's now after 10 p.m. So yeah, 9 to 10 hours that everything's been on. Had a pretty active day. We went for a walk like late afternoon and got caught in a hailstorm, which was unexpected. So definitely gave this look a good wear test. So let me just zoom you all the way in so you can see. I'm also going to lower the brightness even more so you can get a good look. So here is what we are looking at now. So the foundation, I feel like it looks about the same on both sides, the primer side and the non-primer side. Again, I'm really seeing no difference with the Milk Makeup Primer. I feel like I got just the tiniest bit shiny here in the middle of my face, like my nose, between my brows here, and next to my nose, like this area. I think it's about equally shiny on both sides. I do feel like the foundation broke down a little bit in my lower half of my face. It's honestly, I feel like it's not looking that different from what we started with. It's just a little bit dry in this region, which it was earlier too. Definitely settled a little bit into this smile line, which this smile line is deeper than this one. Usually I get more settling on this side, but you can see there's a little bit of settling there. It's definitely looking kind of dry on my upper lip, around my chin. I have to say I'm kind of surprised by how the foundation held up. I'm not saying it held up well necessarily, but I don't feel like it really broke down that much compared to like what it looked like earlier. I feel like it actually stayed on my face pretty well. So really my main issue with it was just the way it applied to my face. I didn't like the way it looked from the get-go, but I don't feel like it necessarily got a whole lot worse throughout the day. As far as those two blushes, I definitely feel like both sides held up pretty well. Definitely still have a decent amount of color on both sides. Obviously, on the e.l.f. side, we did have that primer underneath, so maybe that held onto the blush a little bit, but like I said, I don't really feel like that milk primer did a whole lot. I will definitely test this without primer too, and all of these are really like early impressions of these products, so I will come back and share my final reviews in a future video, but I feel like both blushes held up nicely. I think the Kaja one was just a little more subtle from the get-go. The brow glue from NYX, that's the only product I used in my brows today. Honestly, I'm not loving this. I think I actually still would prefer the NYX Thick It Stick It brow gel over this, because that one I feel like actually fills in my brows a little bit better, makes them look a little bit more complete. This, I feel like, really doesn't have as good of hold as I thought it would. Like, you can see some of my brow hairs over on this side are kind of falling. I had one of my brow hairs earlier today was just like sticking straight down. So I definitely don't feel like this is comparable to the Ardell brow glue by any means. I still would have to say I prefer that one. And that's, I mean, that's coming from someone that really likes that laminated effect. This is not giving me that. It's really doesn't have much more hold than just a standard brow gel. I would say like it feels like there's still some of this in my brows and it's kind of holding them in place, but yeah, I'm not really happy with the way my brows look right now. Okay, the eyeshadow, this was the side with the Milani eyeshadow primer underneath. This was the side with no primer underneath. I actually feel like both sides creased, which is actually surprising to me that I got any creasing on the primer side, because usually that Milani primer keeps shadows in place really well. The non-primer side you can see has quite a bit more creasing, and it also faded a little bit more on this side versus the non-primer side. So I'm kind of disappointed. I was hoping that this would really truly be a no-budge eyeshadow. I still really like the way it applied. I'm gonna keep playing with this. I hope I can find a way to make it work, because I love the color and I really love the way it applied. Like it wasn't patchy, it went on super smoothly. Yeah, I'm really kind of bummed to see that it faded so much even on the primer side. That's surprising to me. Good news is the Ilia Limitless Lash did not budge at all. I don't have any flaking or smudging on my eyes whatsoever. I am so happy to be saying that, because I've had really bad luck with mascaras over the last year as far as like transferring and flaking goes. Like most mascaras have been causing me problems in that area, but so far not this one. So I'm really happy with this so far. I think my lashes look really nice, and I think as this formula continues to thicken up, I'll probably start to like it even more. But I think my lashes look amazing. Like they look super long. So that is a winner so far. All in all, a very interesting set of products. We had some hits, we had some misses. Let me know if you've tried any of these things and what your experience was. I will definitely be continuing to experiment with these products and come back to you with my final review once I have tested them in combination with other products as well. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you had fun. If you did, be sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I do also have a Patreon and a channel membership if you're interested in supporting my channel further. My patrons and members get an exclusive vlog and makeup video each month, so I would love to have you over there. Otherwise, I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and I will talk to you again very soon in my next video.